The airport security guard's grip tightened around Emily's arm as he yanked her from her seat on the crowded flight to New York. "Ma'am, you're causing a disturbance," he barked, his face flushed with authority, while passengers whispered and stared. But what no one knew was that Emily Harlan, the unassuming tech entrepreneur in row 12, was hours away from closing a deal that would make her the majority shareholder of the very airline enforcing this bigotry. Emily's heart pounded as she was escorted down the aisle, her girlfriend Sarah clinging to her other hand, tears streaming down her face. It had started innocently enough, a quick kiss goodbye as Sarah saw her off at the gate, but a nosy passenger had complained, claiming it was inappropriate and disrupting the family atmosphere. The flight attendant, a middle-aged woman with a tight bun and judgmental eyes, had escalated it to security. Now here Emily was being dragged off like a criminal, her laptop bag slung over her shoulder, containing the merger documents that could change everything. As they reached the jet bridge, Emily pulled away slightly, her voice steady despite the humiliation. "This is discrimination," she said, locking eyes with the guard. "I'm filing a complaint." He scoffed, radioing for backup. Sarah, who had rushed after them, pleaded, "Please, she's done nothing wrong. We're just together." The guard's partner, a burly man in his 40s, shook his head. "Rules are rules. No public displays that offend others." Emily felt a surge of anger mixed with the familiar sting of rejection she'd known since coming out in college. But she couldn't afford to lose her cool, not with the board meeting looming. Back in the terminal under the harsh fluorescent lights of JFK Airport, Emily sat in a holding room, Sarah by her side. The airline representative, a slick-suited man named Mr. Collins, arrived with a clipboard. "Miss Harlan, we've reviewed the incident. The passenger felt uncomfortable with your affection. For the safety and comfort of all, we're denying you boarding." Emily's mind raced. Safety, comfort. This was 2025, not the Stone Age. But she knew the undercurrents, the subtle homophobia still lurking in corporate America, especially in industries like aviation where family values were code for exclusion. Sarah squeezed her hand. Let's just book another flight. Don't let this ruin the day." But Emily's eyes hardened. This wasn't just about a delayed trip. It was about every time she'd hidden her identity to climb the corporate ladder. At 28, she built Harlan Tech from a garage startup to a multimillion-dollar AI firm specializing in logistics software. The irony burned. Her software optimized routes for this very airline, Sky High Airways, and now they were kicking her off for who she loved. As Mr. Collins droned on about policies, Emily's phone buzzed. It was her lawyer, confirming the acquisition details. Sky High was struggling financially, ripe for takeover. Emily had been negotiating secretly for months, using a shell company to mask her involvement. If all went well, by tomorrow she'd control 51% of the shares. A small smile crept across her face amid the chaos. "Fine," she said to Collins. "I'll comply. But you'll hear from my attorney." Released after an hour, Emily and Sarah headed to a nearby hotel. Sarah, a 27-year-old graphic designer with a fiery spirit, paced the room. "How can they get away with this? It's blatant prejudice." Emily nodded, pulling up her emails. "Because they think they're untouchable." But not for long. That night, as Sarah slept fitfully, Emily worked late, finalizing the deal. The acquisition wasn't just business. It had become personal. The next morning, Emily strode into the Sky High boardroom in Manhattan, dressed in a sharp power suit. The board members, all older men in ties, greeted her representative warmly, unaware she was the buyer. When the papers were signed, the chairman, Mr. Whitaker, shook her hand. "Welcome to the family, Miss Harlan." She held his gaze. "Oh, I intend to make some changes." Emily's first act as majority shareholder was subtle but pointed. She called an emergency meeting with the executive team, including the head of customer relations, who oversaw the incident policies. Seated at the head of the table, she laid out the footage from the airport security cams, footage her team had obtained overnight. "This," she said, pointing to the screen where she was being escorted off, "is not the image of Sky High I envision." The room fell silent. Mr. Collins, the same man from the airport, blanched. Miss Harlan, that was a standard procedure. Emily leaned forward. Standard? Denying service based on a kiss? In New York, of all places. Whispers erupted. Whitaker cleared his throat. We value diversity, but we must consider all passengers. Emily's voice sharpened. Diversity isn't a buzzword, it's action. Effective immediately. We're revising our policies to explicitly protect LGBTQ+ rights. Sarah watched from home via video link, her pride swelling. But the victory felt hollow. Back at their Brooklyn apartment that evening, Sarah confronted Emily. You bought the airline for revenge? What about us? You've been working nonstop. Emily sighed, rubbing her temples. It's not just revenge. It's justice. For every person like us who's been shamed. Sarah crossed her arms. But at what cost? You're distant, Em. This deal consumed you. The tension simmered. Emily's family, conservative Midwesterners, had never fully accepted her sexuality. Her parents, devout Christians, had cut ties after she came out at 20. Now, with the acquisition public, the media frenzy began. Headlines screamed, "Tech mogul buys airline after lesbian kiss ejection." Her inbox flooded with support and hate mail. One email from her estranged mother read, "Emily, this is ungodly. Repent before it's too late." The pressure mounted. At a press conference, Emily stood tall. Sky High will be a leader in inclusivity. No one should fear flying for who they are. Applause mixed with boos. A reporter shouted, "Is this personal vendetta?" She paused. It's personal progress. But inside doubts gnawed. Had she overreached? The acquisition drained her savings, betting everything on turning the company around. Sarah's own struggles bubbled up. As a freelancer, she'd put her career on hold to support Emily's rise. Now resentment crept in. "I feel like a side character in your story," she confessed one night over dinner. Emily reached for her hand. "You're my everything." But actions spoke louder. Emily canceled date nights for board calls, leaving Sarah alone with her thoughts. A betrayal loomed. Emily's COO, Marcus, a longtime friend, leaked internal memos to a rival airline, hoping to sabotage the deal for his own gain. When Emily discovered it via a whistleblower, she confronted him in his office. "Why, Marcus? We built this together." He sneered. "You changed. This gay rights crusade is tanking our stock." The words hit like a slap. She fired him on the spot, but the damage was done. Stock prices dipped, investors panicked. That night, Emily broke down in Sarah's arms. "What if I lose everything?" Sarah held her. "Then we start over. Together." But the seed of doubt planted deeper. Emily's decisions were ripping at the seams of their relationship, forcing Sarah to question if love could survive ambition's toll. As weeks passed, Emily implemented changes, sensitivity training, pride partnerships. But backlash from conservative stakeholders grew. A major investor pulled out, citing moral concerns. Emily faced a choice: dilute her reforms or risk bankruptcy. She chose to fight, but the personal cost escalated. Sarah received anonymous threats online, forcing them to hire security. In a heated argument, Sarah exploded. "This isn't about us anymore. It's your ego." Emily recoiled. "My ego? This is for people like us." The words hung heavy, exposing the rift. Sarah stormed out, leaving Emily alone with her empire and her regrets. The rift widened like a chasm. Sarah moved in with a friend for a break, leaving Emily in their empty apartment, surrounded by boxes of merger documents. Sleepless nights followed, haunted by memories of their first date. A picnic in Central Park where Sarah's laugh had melted Emily's guarded heart. Now that laughter was absent, replaced by terse texts. "Need space." At work, the battles intensified. A class action lawsuit from ejected passengers, inspired by Emily's story, hit Sky High. Ironically, she welcomed it, seeing it as catalyst for change. But her board rebelled. Whitaker cornered her after a meeting. "You're turning this company into a political circus. Resign or we'll force you out." Emily stood firm. "Try it. I own the majority." The moral quandaries piled on. Emily discovered the airline's ties to discriminatory vendors in the South, where anti-LGBT laws lingered. Cutting them meant lost revenue. Keeping them betrayed her principles. She chose to sever, but it cost jobs, hundreds laid off. Protests erupted outside headquarters, signs reading "Harlan the Hypocrite." The weight crushed her. Was progress worth the human toll? Family pressures resurfaced. Her sister Lisa called unexpectedly. "Mom's sick, Em. Cancer. She wants to see you." Emily's throat tightened. "Does she know about everything?" Lisa sighed. "She does. But she's scared." The flight to Ohio was turbulent, mirroring Emily's turmoil. At the hospital, her mother, frail in bed, whispered, "I was wrong. Forgive me." Tears flowed. "I do, Mom. But you hurt me." Reconciliation began, but it unearthed buried pain. Years of rejection that fueled Emily's drive. Back in New York, Sarah grappled with her own demons. At a support group for partners of LGBTQ+ activists, she shared, "I love her, but her fight is consuming us." A woman there, Jenna, offered sympathy and more. Late-night coffees turned flirtatious, testing Sarah's loyalty. One evening, Jenna leaned in. "You deserve someone present." Sarah pulled away, but the temptation lingered, a betrayal in thought if not deed. Emily, sensing the distance, flew Sarah to a surprise weekend in the Hamptons. "We need to talk," she said on the beach. Sarah confessed her doubts. "I almost cheated. I'm sorry." Emily's world shattered. "Why?" Sarah cried. "Because you're never here. Your cause is noble, but I'm losing you to it." They argued, voices rising with the waves. Emily admitted, "I thought fixing the world would fix us." Sarah shook her head. "We need to fix us first." The turning point came when a bomb threat targeted Sky High's Pride event. Emily evacuated, but in the chaos, she realized the danger she'd put Sarah in. "This has to stop," she told her board. But stopping meant surrendering. Instead, she doubled down, hiring experts to bolster security and PR. Yet, the internal conflict raged. Emily visited a therapist, unpacking layers of trauma. "I fight because I was fought against," she said. The sessions revealed her ambition as armor, shielding vulnerability. Sarah attended too, confronting her resentment. "I feel invisible." Progress was slow, punctuated by setbacks. A major confrontation brewed. Marcus, the fired COO, sued for wrongful termination, claiming discrimination against his traditional views. The trial loomed, forcing Emily to relive the airport incident on the stand. "It wasn't about views, it was betrayal," she testified. The courtroom drama exposed fissures. Witnesses flip-flopped, loyalties shifted. In the midst, Sarah returned home. "I'm in if you are." They rebuilt brick by brick, but the scars remained. Emily scaled back work, delegating reforms. But society pushed back harder, with boycotts from conservative groups tanking profits. The trial became a media spectacle, pitting progress against prejudice. Emily's testimony went viral. "Love isn't a disturbance. Hate is." Support poured in from allies, but so did vitriol. Death threats escalated, forcing Emily and Sarah into hiding at a safe house upstate. There, isolated, they confronted the core of their mending relationship. "You're my anchor," Emily whispered one night by the fire. Sarah nodded. "But anchors can drown you if too heavy." The metaphor stuck. Emily realized her drive had burdened Sarah unfairly. "I'll step down if needed." Sarah shook her head. "Don't. Just balance." They made love, not passionately but tenderly, reaffirming bonds frayed by chaos. Back in court, Marcus's lawyer grilled Emily. "Isn't this acquisition revenge for personal slight?" She paused, choosing truth. "It started that way, but it became bigger, about equity." The jury deliberated. Victory came. Wrongful termination dismissed. But the win was Pyrrhic. Legal fees drained reserves. Post-trial, Emily faced a shareholder revolt. A faction led by Whitaker proposed a buyout to restore normalcy. The meeting was tense. "Your agenda is alienating customers," Whitaker argued. Emily countered. "Our inclusive policies boosted loyalty among millennials. Profits are rebounding." Data backed her, but emotions ran high. A vote loomed. Keep her or oust. The night before, Sarah's friend Jenna called, offering support. Sarah hung up, but Emily overheard. Jealousy flared. Is she still in the picture? Sarah sighed. No. But your paranoia is. The argument escalated, old wounds reopening. You almost cheated. Emily shouted. Sarah retorted. Because you pushed me away. They slept apart, the silence deafening. At the vote, Emily addressed the room. I didn't choose this fight, it chose me. But I'll step aside if it's best. The board split, but her shares tipped the scale. She stayed. Triumph mixed with exhaustion. Returning home, she found Sarah packing. I can't do this roller coaster. Emily begged. Please. I've changed. Sarah hesitated. Prove it. Proof came in sacrifices. Emily sold non-essential assets to stabilize finances, prioritizing employee welfare over rapid reforms. She reconciled further with her family. Her mother, in remission, visited New York. I'm proud, she said, hugging Sarah too. The moment healed but highlighted contrasts. Emily's world of high stakes versus Sarah's desire for simplicity. Society's backlash persisted. A viral video of protesters chanting slurs outside their building went global. Emily responded with an op-ed. Hate won't ground us. But privately, she questioned morality. Had her choices endangered lives? The layoffs haunted her. One affected worker emailed, You ruined my family. Guilt consumed. In therapy, Emily explored, Am I the hero or the villain? The therapist replied, Both. Decisions have dual edges. Sarah supported, but her own career suffered. Clients dropped her due to association. Your fight is mine now, she said bitterly. Emily offered, Quit if you want. I'll support us. But Sarah refused, valuing independence. A final betrayal struck. Lisa, Emily's sister, leaked family secrets to tabloids for money, painting Emily as unstable. The article exploded. Billionaire's dark past. Hurt deepened. Emily confronted Lisa. Why? Lisa cried. Jealousy. You left us behind. Forgiveness came hard, but Emily chose it, severing ties temporarily. As tensions peaked, Emily and Sarah attended a gala for LGBTQ+ rights. There, amid applause, Emily proposed publicly. Will you marry me despite the madness? Sarah, tears flowing, said yes. The moment symbolized hope, but reality intruded. A heckler shouted obscenities, security intervening. The engagement brought fleeting joy, overshadowed by escalating threats. Emily hired a crisis team, but paranoia set in. Is this worth it? She asked Sarah during a quiet dinner. Sarah smiled sadly. Love always is. But the price? They agreed to elope quietly in Vermont, away from prying eyes. The ceremony was intimate, vows exchanged under autumn leaves. Through storms and calm. Post-marriage, Emily refocused sky high. Reforms solidified. Partnerships with GLAAD. Inclusive ads featuring diverse families. Stocks recovered, proving skeptics wrong. But personal tolls lingered. Sarah's therapy revealed suppressed trauma from the threats. I fear losing you, she admitted. Emily echoed. Me too. A pivotal awakening came during a board retreat. Whitaker, once adversarial, confided. My granddaughter came out. Your fight opened my eyes. The confession humanized foes, reminding Emily that change rippled outward. Yet, she pondered ethics. Had her aggressive tactics alienated potential allies? Society evolved slowly. A Supreme Court ruling bolstered LGBTQ+ protections, crediting cases like Emily's. She testified in D.C., sharing her story. Discrimination isn't policy. It's poison. Applause followed, but exhaustion hit. Back home, Sarah noticed. Time for a break. They vacationed in Hawaii, reconnecting sans drama. Upon return, a crisis. A whistleblower exposed lingering biases in hiring. Emily investigated, firing culprits. But it revealed her own blind spots. Had she favored loyalty over competence? Self-doubt surged. Am I no better? She confided in Sarah. You're human, Sarah replied. Learn. The story's climax unfolded in a family reunion. Emily's mother hosted bridges mending. But Lisa arrived uninvited, apologetic. I was wrong. Forgiveness flowed, but trust rebuilt gradually. The evening turned reflective, discussing choices. Was it worth the pain? Emily's mother asked. Emily glanced at Sarah. Yes. It led here. As years blurred, the timeline compressed to months in this tale. Emily stepped down as CEO, appointing a diverse successor. She shifted to philanthropy, funding anti-discrimination initiatives. Sarah flourished, launching her design firm with Emily's support. Reflecting, Emily wrote a memoir draft. The Price of Progress. Hearts Broken Mended. Sarah edited, adding, and love enduring. Their life stabilized, but scars reminded of battles. In the end, Emily Harlan transformed an industry, but at costs immeasurable. Betrayals endured, relationships tested, morals questioned. She and Sarah thrived, advocates for change but forever changed. Was it right to wield personal power for societal reform, even if it meant sacrificing intimate bonds along the way?